your WCG 2007 Grand Finals. Welcome out to the stage in the red corner, all the way from Korea. Put your hands together for Stork! Go on, folks, let him hear it. Great to have you here, Stork. Good luck. And in the blue corner, all the way from Greece, put your hands together for Satanik! Good luck, sir. All right. Again, your chance to guess the winner. If you think Korea is going to win, put it in the red. If you think Greece is going to win, put it in the blue. It's time to turn it over to two great commentators. They called our first three games for us. DJ Wheat and Tasteless. Gentlemen, you ready to call this match?
Do Terran missile turrets bug out when observers are placed over them while they're building? I think so.
Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to watch this match? Let's put your hands together, root them on. Come on now. We'll be back as soon as we have a winner. It's a best of three.
All right, folks, we've got Savior taking on Satanik up here. Stork taking on Satanik up here on the main stage of the World Cyber Games 2007 Grand Final. Savior on stage before, taking out Android in 2 games. That was a 2-0 victory for him. And Stork looking to do the same thing, and there he is in the red pot. Once again, not having a flawless record coming out of the group stages. Out of Group F, he lost to White Raw from the Ukraine. And we still will have Stork from Korea playing as the Protoss. And we're going to introduce the next player here in just a second. But Stork, a little bit of controversy surrounding his games yesterday that we'll get into in just a moment. But let's meet the player in the blue pod. Tasteless, who do we got?
We've got, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's either Satanik or Satanik, but he's a very good Zerg player from Greece. He's been around the scene for a long time, and he hasn't really had the opportunity to show his skills because the WCG wasn't taking StarCraft players from Greece. So this is a great opportunity for him to really show off what a great player he really is.
And we should have a interesting matchup here. Protoss versus Zerg coming up here. Greece player versus Korea. And we're about to get started here in just a second. But first, we're going to check out what map will be played here in the first map of this best of 3. And the map will be Neo Baekdu Daegon, which I'm sure my Korean's terrible, so I pronounced that and butchered it all over the place. Tasteless, tell us a little bit about this 2-player map.
It's one of the maps we saw earlier in the Android versus Savior match, the one from the first game. It's a really good map, really technical. It takes a lot of training and a lot of practice to play on, but Stork will definitely be comfortable with that because this is one of the maps in the Korean Pro Leagues. Most defining feature of the map is the small entrances in the middle, which large units can't fit through.
All right, well, we're going to get this match started in just a moment. Stork versus Satanik on stage. Let's make some noise here for the second StarCraft matchup here on stage. It's day 3 of the World Cyber Games 2007 Grand Finals here in not-so-sunny Seattle. We've got some great competition all day long, and we're kicking it off with a second StarCraft matchup. Korea's Stork taking on Greece's Satanik. Both players 3-1 out of the group stage. Stork losing to White Raw, and Satanik also losing a game. The winner of this matchup will go on to face the winner of Steelheart versus Swasin, which could set up a Korea versus Korea matchup should Stork be triumphant here in this game. I'm DJ Wheat. Joining me is the Storm Observer, Tasteless, and how excited are you for this? We're going to have a Protoss versus Zerg matchup. Let's talk a little bit about that, Tasteless.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think this is going to be a great matchup, Protoss versus Zerg. It's really going to be up to how Stork opens up, so once the game starts, we'll be able to talk a little bit more about that. But, you know, I got to say, Stork's had a little bit more of a hard time in this tournament, unlike his Korean teammates. You know, that wasn't just because of that, you know, he accidentally used a bug. Well, he intentionally used a bug, but he wasn't aware that it was a bug which was illegal to use in the tournament. There are tournaments which allow the turret bug. So, you know, he's faced a little bit of stress there. And then he was losing to White Raw in his group, not just once, but in tiebreaker rounds, too. And which really is surprising, considering that Stork is the #1 ranked TESPA player right now. He is the highest ranked player in Korea, which basically makes him the highest ranked player in the world professionally. So that's a bit of a surprise. That doesn't mean, though, that he won't win this tournament. He has a very high chance of doing that. He's a really good player. He's really smart. I did get the opportunity to watch him play. I got to sit behind him and see exactly how he works. And he's a very clean player. Not one of those players that really focuses so much on APM. He focuses more on being precise and making the best moves. And I think it's gonna pay off in this tournament here, Marcus.
All right, well, thank you for that analysis there, Tasteless. We've got Stork playing as the yellow Protoss in the 1 o'clock position. Satanik as the brown, I guess you could call that brown, in the 7 o'clock position as the Zerg. Now, in this map, we've seen a lot of rushes take place. Do you think that we're going to see something like that? Or do you think these players are, like, observing what has been happening? Up on stage, we've now had 3 unsuccessful rushes on this particular map. And I got to think that eventually these guys are going to be like, all right, it's not working. This year is not the year of the rush. Let's throw out some new strats here.
You know, that's a good point, but I think most of those rushes are oriented towards Savior because of Savior's style. He's just a really good macro player. I don't know exactly how Satanik is planning on fighting off Stork. It looks like so far both players are opening pretty standard. Stork opening up for 2 gateways, so this is a rush, but it's not what you consider to be a cheesy rush. It's a typical opener where the Protoss is going to send Zealots out, try to pressure the Zerg into making more Zerglings, more sunken colonies, and also he's going to try to pick off drones in that process. And what that does is it's an attempt to force the Zerg to get behind economically. Now, Satanik's opened up with a pool first, and did manage to get that hatchery down. Stork sent his probe out there to try to stop it from actually planting, but he did manage to get that down. Now, since he went pool first, he's going to be able to get a lot of Zerglings out here and really try to hold off this rush. So maybe Stork will change his build. We're going to find out by how many Zealots start flooding out of his base.
Or this probe, cartography probe out here is going to be checking out what's going on here in the southwest Zerg base. And Stork just kind of doing some early harassment here. You know, not only specking with this probe, but also now the Zerglings come out, the probes are going to go ahead and hightail it out of there. And we're going to see what happens here as we've now got this set of Zerglings coming out. Another probe's going to come out along with a Zealot, and a few more are going to be coming down as well. So far early on, here we got early push right here.
It looks like Stork's microing quite well right now. He did manage to pick off 2 Zerglings, and now the Zealots will reinforce this. Now the pressure's already on, Marcus. Now, since he did get the pool first, the second hatchery will come out later. That means that Zerglings won't be coming out. Even though Zerglings come out earlier, he won't be able to get as many of them as quickly. He needs that second hatchery to come out here in time. Now, these spots are actually very close to each other. If you look on the mini-map, even though it looks like they're far away, they're actually very close by land. There's a direct path the Zealots can follow. Now, Satanik has to be very careful with how he controls his Zerglings right now. He needs to get the sunken colony up, but he also can't afford to lose too many Zerglings in that process. And Stork microing excellent. He has not lost a single Zealot here.
And I don't think that, well, it is going to come up here. More Zerglings coming down, and obviously individual Zergling not going to be able to take that out. He still goes after that one Zergling who basically was nothing but Band-Aids and a bloody pulp on his head. And they still managed to keep all 4 of them alive as he takes out these Zerglings 1 by 1 in execution style.
Yeah, I gotta say, Stork is definitely proving that he really knows how to execute a rush perfectly. This is just a typical rush opening, but he's actually controlling his units so well.
Wow.
That at this point in time, I don't even know if Satanik can recover from this. The Koreans are just so good at StarCraft. I don't know how else to say this.
There's this one Zealot over here who's literally got just a few hit points left, and in amazing fashion, Stork is really just walling off that one unit and making sure that he will not go down. The fact that he has not yet fallen is just absolutely amazing to me. And this looks like a lot of trouble here for Satanik to start off.
He's already lost his hatchery. At this point in time, I don't know if Satanik can recover from this. The Zealots keep coming. They keep coming. The Zerglings are not as strong as the Zealots. The Zerglings, of course, can be produced at a faster rate, but this eventually starts to have like a snowball effect when you get this many Zealots together. I mean, how can a Zerg recover right now? Satanik's control is even getting sloppy. He does have one drone within that fight, and the Zealots just keep coming. They keep beating down his drones. Good game. The Koreans have won again.
Unbelievable. He did not lose a single unit in all of that right there. Stork showing that a few mouse clicks can go a very, very long way. More than a few there, Tasteless. That was pretty amazing. Stork, there's just nothing that he could do. He was basically sending Zerglings in to die, pretty much.
Yeah,
right there.
at that point in time, it looked like it was the very first Zealot and Probe that did enough damage for it to just start piling on. And Stork, I think I only saw him make maybe like 1 or 2 minor errors with his micro, and he was just completely out-microing his opponent.
How would that match have been different had that Sunken Colony actually gotten up?
Well, it depends on how many hit points the Sunken Colony actually had. But I gotta say, I'm not too sure because it seemed like Stork was pretty set on rushing that game, and it just looked like, I don't know. It really depends on how many hit points the Sunken Colony had, though. But Stork definitely proved that he knows how to micro.
Well, we're going to find out what changes Satanik will bring to the table here in map number 2. But so far, the Koreans showing their dominance up here on the stage match. We're going to move on to map 2 in just a second. Visit WCG 2007 Grand Finals in Seattle.